told me before. It seems I don't know where to start, but it's now that I feel your grace fall like rain from every fingertip, washing away my pain. And I still believe in your faithfulness. And I still believe in your truth. And I still believe in your holy word. 'Cause even when I don't see it, I still believe. Though the questions seem to follow my mind, the promises I still seem to bear. 'Cause even when answers are slowly unwinding, it's my heart I see you prepare. But it's now that I feel your grace fall like rain from every fingertip. You're washing away my pain. 'Cause I still believe in your faithfulness. I still believe in your truth, oh my Jesus. And I still believe in your holy word. 'Cause even when I don't see, I still believe. I still believe.
So I mentioned the church that I was at where I was reborn. Let me give something to you, because I don't preach what I haven't practiced. I'd gone to church for years before going to Millwood. I believed. I didn't realize I was in jeopardy. The other churches I went to, they were good churches, good fellowships. But there was just something about when we came to the Church of God. Now, did you know that there are people being saved in churches of all shapes and forms? And there's Methodist churches, there's Catholic churches, there's 18 Church of Gods that are totally different organizations. There's Assemblies of God, amen? There's the Baptist churches. I don't know, about a half a dozen different Baptist denominations. Did you know that people get saved in those? That was just, people are reborn in those wombs. And I thank God for the ones that tended to me till the time came to where I finally made it to the place where that the Lord could really reach me. I can still remember, just like it was today, that many years ago, and it has been a few now, when I was at the altar, and I spoke to the Lord, and He spoke back. I said, well, what do you mean? Did you hear an audible voice? Yeah, because it was the evangelist. We'd gone to our first revival there, and some of you heard the story At Millward Church of God, our platform was 4 feet tall. All the way across the front of the building. The evangelist was there, and I didn't know nothing about speaking in tongues, none of that kind of stuff. All I knew was this guy was an Alaskan Indian. When he was speaking in tongues, maybe he was speaking some sort of Eskimo or something. I don't know. Came time for coming up to the prayer. They had an altar call. It actually took the 3rd night before I finally thought, I gotta go. I told my wife, I gotta go find out, I gotta go. So I got up. We always used to sit 5 pews back, didn't we? 5 pews back, but I always sat on the middle aisle. I was right there, boy. I was ready. Didn't know what I was ready for. I had to get up, and I went forward, and I bowed. I didn't have to get down on my knees because the thing's 4 feet tall. I just kind of did one of these kind of things, right? You ever pray like that? You know, and music is playing, people are singing, and I said a prayer. And I said some things, and I got up, and I started walking back to my seat. And down at the other end of the platform is this little Alaskan Indian guy doing this. And he starts walking across, and I'm doing this. You remember that? And so finally, as I'm almost getting ready to sit in my seat, Brother Dennis, Jim Dennis, tapped me and said, Brother Fields, yeah. Brother Aniscott's calling you up. Yeah. Yeah, so I went up. And I went up and, hey, this is a man of God. He's a preacher, right? From some unknown planet, it seemed like, or at least another world, Alaska. And I come up there and he says, son? Yeah, yes, sir. Now you can understand now, I'm half the man I was back then. My wife will tell you, my daughter can tell you, that was in my prime in my bodybuilding and powerlifting. Yet still, though, there was something about this man that made me feel pretty weak. Not insignificant, mind you, just weak. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe you don't get this, but that's okay. And he said, come here. And he got down on one knee. I said, I can't do it. So he gets down on one knee. And I come down, and of course, now we're almost face to face. He laid his hand on my shoulder. And then he laid his other hand on my head. And he said, you said this to God. You know, he quoted me word for word. And that don't mean nothing to you. But then he continued on. After he said some things I didn't understand. Some of that Alaskan stuff. But as he said it, I felt something. Just like I feel right now. He's looking at him. He said, you said this. And here's what God says. Now from that point, have you ever been on a roller coaster? It's as if it took us years. Having children. Just to be clear, that's what drove me to church. I said, we've got kids. We need to go to church. Now, I had no idea why. All I knew is I needed help. But for those years, we'd gone to a couple of other churches, and we stayed in them for a couple of years here, and then something would happen or whatever, and we moved. So we went to another, and there were various situations, but we ended up at the Millward Church of God, and it was a totally different atmosphere for me. I mean, I can still remember that. In that revival we went to, my wife says to me, what's going on? I said, I don't know. What are they doing? I don't know, but I'm going up to find out. I want some of that, whatever's happening. But after God spoke, It's like we've been on this